Welcome back, Generals, to another Let's Fix Generals 0 Hour to make the best game ever. Okay, so last session we did fix another Hero Radar icon issues that we had introduced earlier. There was so much wrong. Oof. Good, but this should be solved now. Okay, what do we do next? Some reviewing probably. Let's see what is currently approved. Can we merge anything? Okay, so 5 are approved. What about this one here? Backport structure multi-selection fix from 0 hour. The code doesn't allow. Yeah, I think this one still had white space discrepancies with 0 hour, which I don't know he will fix. Who knows? Okay, let's go to the next one. Fix mismatch, multiplayer mismatch on surrender. Here I was waiting for Helmut to... I was checking if Helmut was happy with it, so let me leave it open for a bit more. Here we still need to wait for replication and so on. Yeah. Okay, and here we still need to measure performance. I figured that the change from if to switch, even though the improvement is small, is acceptable because it doesn't add any code, nor does it put much pressure. I'm not in favor of adding 2 more macros, blah blah. Okay. Would an unordered map work here? Nah. Codes. Yeah. Indeed, it's the requirements are quite a bit more intricate. The switch case is fine as is. Can you will you be able to measure the performance of this? Wait, so he says it's debug only. Is it only debug? Let me see. If it's only debug, then I guess it doesn't matter much. I thought that this might be used in non-debug context. Get command type as ASCII string. Is this function static then? Yeah. Okay, this used indeed here in a Another optimization we can do here is return const char instead of ASCII string, because it is not necessary to allocate here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Switch cases, okay. Okay, let me see if so this one is apparently only used for debug, yeah? Let me see that. Is it called at all then? For debugging purposes, indeed. It's never called. It's never called. Well, that's disappointing. I checked, and that function is actually never called. So this change changes nothing, not even in debug. Might as well just remove remove the function entirely. Okay, so this is basically just a refactor. It doesn't have any effect on anything because the function is never used. Well, then we also don't need to measure performance because that doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. No. Good. Then we have this guy here. Okay, this one was approved. This changes 8,000 lines. Okay, let me see if he was happy. Reverted. Okay, he didn't say anything else. He just approved it. Okay. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to enable all targets, yeah, in debug with extras and tools with profile, and here extras and tools, everything. Then we generate. And then we go to our branch, polish debug messages. No, this one. No, this one. First we pull main. And we go here. Rebase, interactive auto squash, rebase. Let's see if this goes smoothly. Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, now we should have everything in place here. Yeah. Okay. Now we can push it. And what I would like to do now is check if we can compile these things individually. So first we just build this one. I just want to make sure that we don't sneakily break something, one of these individual commits. Everything should build. Let's build it in release. I'm getting an error when I try to run release with RTS debug. mdebug ptr. mdebug ptr. Debug PTR. RTS debug. In release. RTS debug. I have not seen such error myself. Check your modifications. What I'd say is this on unmodified main branch? If not, then check your changes. Check your local changes. My suspicion is that he changed something that triggered this or broke it. I have never seen this one. If I did, I would have fixed it. No. By the way, we'll wait here for the compilations to finish. This morning I saw on Game Replays, gamereplays.org, forums. Here, the old topic that I opened back in 2021. When did I open this topic? Yeah, 2021. This is when our patching effort started. So Dominator did write, I've been testing Generals online, heard they have already deployed several fixes that the Super Hackers team have worked on, including mismatches and other stuff. However, I heard as the Super Hackers don't wish to break game compatibility with existing 104, certain fixes are not being prioritized. For example, the unit limit where path finding just stops working at about 1000 units and subsequently leads to a serious error. This is a MF of an issue and should be fixed. It affects most big FFA games, so mine a lot, Legionnaire streams pretty much most games. This absolutely should be prioritized and be looked at fixed. I would say forget about compatibility now. Now is the time to make this game amazing for us, and later we convince the general public to get the new patch. Okay, I wrote my thoughts on this here. So basically, Community Outpost has laid out the high-level strategy for rollouts already many months ago. The high-level goal is that our first releases, single or plural, are meant to be rolled out with compatibility towards a retail 1.4, 1.5 executable, right? So that people can onboard, upgrade at their own discretion, right? And get into this new ecosystem. So what he says, for abandon compatibility and just fix. Okay, you can do this, but then you need to onboard all players like at the same time. Otherwise, you have this split in the community, right? You have people playing on the old version and you have people playing on the new version. Or new versions, multiple, right? So the more custom versions you push that are incompatible with each other, the more you fracture the community, the multiplayer community, into different smaller chunks and smaller groups. The same happens if you push for more services. So you push for Game Ranger, you push for many Redman rooms, for CNC Online, for Generals Online server. So you push the player in all these different locations. That also splits the multiplayer apart, the multiplayer community, right? So it's if the rollout is done without consideration, without care, then you fracture the community. And we already see this happening now, right? So that's why, I mean, for us, for Super Hackers organization, like we are not primarily a publisher, we are primarily developer. And our first customer is Community Outpost with community patch efforts. And then obviously there will be other customers naturally, like, so we want to build with like a very liberal approach that we try to cater to most needs of community, right? So with mods in mind and with forks in mind of us, right? That we don't unnecessarily break things, right? Add incompatibilities and things like this. So the rollout strategy for community outposts, community patch is that there's a graceful rollout where everything is compatible for a few builds and players have the chance to onboard at their own schedule, right? Similar to how people onboarded Gentoo, right? Gentoo was an add-on, didn't add any incompatibilities, and over time people just onboarded it. And the same logic would apply with a patch rollout. But then at some point, hopefully you would have captured most of the players into the new ecosystem, and then you can start thinking about more changes that will break compatibility, which is inevitable. In the long run, it's inevitable because you want to fix as many of the shit as possible, and you can't fix a lot of things if you don't break compatibility. But you can already fix a lot of things without breaking compatibility, right? And there's still a lot more things we need to finish for a first product that is convincing and good and doesn't break compatibility. Like, there's just literally so much to do. There's so much broken in this game, right? And I understand that people are eager and they want all the fixes now, but it comes at a cost, right? The cost is that then, yeah, you oh shit, I didn't want to do that. I have no idea what I just did here. What happened? That was weird. Yeah, talking about something and working on something at the same time, that doesn't work well. Here, I want to check this out. There we go. No, I wanted to check out this one here. What is this? Detached head. Okay, anyway, let's build that. Okay, so the strategy is to roll out with care, right? With compatibility in mind. Of course, it has a disadvantage that you don't get all the fixes at once, right? But of course, you want them all now. You want all the fixes right now. But that comes at the cost of breaking compatibility. So the strategy was fix all the criticals, all the big things, replicate the Gentoo features for a first release that is compatible with the retail version of the game, so that everyone can onboard into the new ecosystem. And then once we see that enough players are on the new version, then we can start thinking about breaking compatibility and then go into more interesting fixes and polishing and keep adding, and then add new features as well, essentially, right? That enhance the game. But I mean, there's just so much to do. So like, things take time, right? And I mean, people can do their own strategies. So the way I see it right now is, so Super Hackers organization is mainly development focused, right? We don't care much about the publishing aspect of things. Like, we can do publishing, but we are more interested in like building a great product, right? Building the game, making it the best game ever, right? That's our ambition, our goal. Then there's Community Outpost with the ambition of publishing the community patch, right? So they are acting as a publisher. So we have developer and publisher. And then we have Generals Online, who's currently acting as a developer and as a publisher, right? And they already publish their alpha versions, they say. So people can already actively are, encouraged to test this and play it and so on, right? So they already like encourage people to come to their service, which already tries to capture multiplayer community, right? So there already begins a fracture of the multiplayer community, splitting it into more parts. And this is something that Community Outpost try to avoid with graceful rollout strategy. So the rollout strategies are very different. Now, if we would think that we now will have more rollouts, so like there could be now another actor that also wants to roll out, and then we have more competing publishers, right? But for the super hackers, that was not the initial vision. The vision that we have is that we have non-competing publishers that don't compete for multiplayer audiences, but that everyone comes into one ecosystem. That is our goal, and that's what we develop forward to. That everyone, that there's no, basically we want to avoid that there is a central authority that can push game content, that captures the majority of the player and that has a monopole over the player base. We want to have like a liberal playing field, even playing field, decentralized, where no actor has authority over the content direction of the game, right? So Community Outpost will be a publisher of the community patch, and players are encouraged to take part. But even if they would not directly use that, as long as they are in the ecosystem for General Zero Hour, they would still have an overlap with it. How do I explain? So let me add here a paint. Yeah. Paint. Super paint. Okay, so let's say so the way the patches have been published and pushed, and how it's done right now with Generals Online is that these are single entities, right? So here you have generals. Let's say this is let me pick a larger font here. Oh, Jesus Christ. Maybe we should use a whiteboard here. Whiteboard. No, not this. There's a Miro board somewhere. Here, web whiteboard. So, it did compile, by the way. I will keep going back to this and keep compile. I think we can skip ahead and check this one here. Check out this commit. Let me compile this. Okay, so let me see if I can make a good drawing here. The line is way too thin. That's better. Okay, so here we have generals. Yeah. let's call it, oh my gosh, why is our font so small? So this is Generals 0 Hour Retail game, right? The one that shipped by EA game. No, it doesn't fit in here. There we go. General 0 Hour Retail, right? That's this bubble. Yeah. How do I scroll? Right mouse button. Okay. So this is a General 0 Hour sphere, and that's the biggest one, right? Everyone plays here historically. Then you have new spheres coming up. So you now have here this Generals Online, right? That also has the ambition, but this is entirely separate from the original game, right? So Generals Online sits here, and it's separate. There's no intersection between these. They're separate entities. So essentially, they're two competing games, and the same is true for things like patch 1.06, the community patch, right? Community, like the old one, like I don't know if you know it, but like just a bunch of small changes, right, in the ini files, and there's no let me pick like a red color here, and so there's no intersection. They are mutually exclusive, right? So players will have to choose to go in here, right? They have to make a choice, either play this, right, or this, right? But they can't engage with all at the same time unless they have unless they manage their install in a way that they can switch between these executables, right, in a way. But otherwise, they are disconnected from each other. So what we want to build is a, how do I show? What we try to build is, where do I have this? Jesus Christ. Where are the tools? Small drawing here. Let me pick a different color. So like orange here. So what we want to build is an ecosystem that sits, oof, I can't really draw this well, but yeah, it has figured it out, kinda. Yeah, so it's the orange circle, which encapsulates General 0 Hour Retail. And then in here, we have a community, General 0 Hour. General 0 Hour. Community, General 0 Hour. Yeah. And that sits, that's like here at the center. It encapsulates General 0 Hour Retail, at least for a time, right? So this is on a clock. This is on a timer. Yeah, it eventually runs out. Yeah. But then in this community General 0 Hour, it will host all the different kind of things that want to join this ecosystem. So there will be a new tool that will provide the content discovery and content delivery for all community generated content for 0 Hour, like add-ons and mods and so on. And then so what can happen then inside here is that the tools don't work. So like you can have like oof. Oh my gosh, it's so buggy. So you can have something like a mod you can have in here. You can have a, oh my gosh. I have big troubles typing here right now. Add-ons, yeah, like Control Bar Pro, for example, right? And patches, yeah, and online server, right? Online servers, maybe even, right? Multiples, right? So all these things will exist in here. Maybe we put here mods plural, and I don't tools as well, right? Tools, right? So all these things exist here in the sphere, right? Let me put here some nice red color. So here we have tools, we have the online servers, we have patches, add-ons, mods, right? And they all have intersections with this thing, right? All this works together, and you're basically encouraged to discover all the different things and have easy integrations, so that, for example, you have the base game installed, you have the tool to discover all the user generated content, you can easily switch into any mod, easily install add-ons, you can play the community patches, plural or single, right? I mean, there can be different publishers that want to create patches, right? And then that's inside here. And you can have different online servers or just one server, right? But basically, it's meant to be open, an open ecosystem. Everyone can contribute to, and we don't want to push players into any particular direction. Like, players are encouraged to play mods, right? But this mod, like a mod might not be visible to someone who's playing on a patch right now, originally, but within this ecosystem, he will be able to see players playing on this mod, right? And then he will be able to see, okay, there are players playing on Shockwave mod, for example, and then they can say, okay, maybe I just join that as well and play a few rounds of Shockwave before I go back here to my patch, right? Or they say, maybe I just want to play this other patch, right? So let's say there's patch 1 and patch 2, right? So they can easily switch from one to another version. Maybe there are different kind of versions that give different kind of pleasures, but as long as you find enough players who want to play that kind of thing, then you can play the session, right? So like, there's no, like, we don't want to push anyone into a certain direction. Like, in the end, the community must decide what they like best, right? Naturally, players will gravitate to whatever works best, right? Whatever gives them the biggest pleasure. And within this ecosystem, this will be possible. And I think it's important that we encourage everyone to be able to contribute to it and to choose what they like, right? And so our ambition is that, obviously, so as developers in the Super Hackers group, we provide the functionality for it. We implement the features and the fixes and improvements and so on, right? For game and tools and so on. Community Outpost is meant to be the publisher of the community patch. And obviously, this will be like one of the main products to give players a patch that we think is good, but obviously also work together with community, or offer working together with community. I mean, community has to decide if they want to try it at all, right? Maybe we built all this and community just said, yeah, we don't care, right? That could also be. And in that case, there won't be any feedbacks from community, right? It could happen, right? But basically, like, I think one of the big pillars is this tool, the GenHub, it's called GenHub. Not to be confused with the P-Hub, yeah? That's a content delivery tool. And so there we will then distribute the community patch. And my personal vision for this is also that we allow like voting systems that players can like tell what they like and don't like. So that means we would need to provide them like ways to channel the feedbacks in there so that we know that we can get like an impression of what the community likes or not likes, which I think will be superior towards like forum messages or Discord chats of people saying, yeah, I don't like this or I like that. Like you only get a snapshot this way of what people really think. But if you have like if you have it built in the launcher or the game itself, a voting where you can feel what the audience actually, what the players actually think, then I think this will be very good. And this way we can shape the direction of where this is heading, right? So that's a vision that we have as developers. And so community patch will be here, community outpost will be the publisher. The super hackers will just like drive towards this, and we don't want these isolated islands that are being created. Like these are islands and they just stand there on their own. And basically what happens is if you would build these islands here, if you would keep building those islands, then let me put that back to black. So you can build more islands around the game. Yeah. You can do that. Right? And currently it is like this, right? So currently you have mods in here. Let me put that on black color. Black and here, right? You have mods. The add-ons are not an island, like Gentool and Control Bar Pro. These are not islands because they are compatible with the retail version and typically also with mods with a few adjustments here and there, right? So Gentool is not an island. Control Bar Pro is not an island. Language add-ons are not an island, but mods are. Somehow I can't scroll again. I don't know why. Now I can. So mods are an island. Why is this so small? Oh, there we go. Mods, island. And then you could have like more patches, right? Patch 1, right? That's an island. Then you have another creator that creates patch 2. That's an island, right? Then you have another one, patch 3. That's an island, right? So all these are separate and they are all disconnected from each other, right? And we want to avoid this. It should all be one ecosystem. That's the goal. Yeah. And so, I mean, publishers can publish the way they want, right? I mean, right now, everything is an island in General Zero Hour. So Generals Online is an island, Community Patch 1.6 is an island. All the mods, Shockwave, Rise of the Reds, Contra mod, they are all islands. Any patches that get released outside the ecosystem, they are islands. And they will all compete for players here. They all want to capture players. So these guys want to capture players. Well, not anymore because no one cares about this. But the Russians, for example, in the past, they also released their own community patch, 1.05 it was called. Now Generals Online released their patch. That's an island. All these are islands, right? But what we want to go to is one ecosystem of small islands that connect to each other. They're all interconnected. And if someone wants to talk about this, then we can talk about this. It will be a challenge to get all this implemented, but there are strategies. We have goals. We built on the tooling, on the tool for this, GenHub. It has its own GitHub repository. It's being worked on. Currently, I don't know if any mods have currently ambitions to get here, but it's probably because there is not the tooling yet, right? So I would expect that this comes, mods come as soon as it will work and they can actually take the steps. Add-ons, that will be easy peasy to integrate, like Control Bar Pro, Gentoo, all these naturally will be no problem. Patches, this is being worked on. This will be no problem. Online servers, we talked with Generals Online, and they signaled that they are open to make their platform more liberal, less centralized, and that way the Generals Online service could move in here, where then all the different actors within the ecosystem, which again, just to clarify, there's no central authority meant to exist in here, right? It should be governed by its participants, right? By the creators. So mods would author the things, right? And they would just enter this ecosystem, but they won't have like any authority, but they also would not need to listen to any authority, right? They can do their own thing and just participate. Same with the online server or servers. Like there can be multiple online servers. It's fine. It's fine. I think for starters, it's probably best to just have one. But you could say, hey, we want to have a separate online server because someone wants to have authority over which people they allow in, right? Because maybe they want to ban certain players, right? That could be a thing. But then we need to make sure that players can easily access those different servers, that they can run side by side, right? If it came to be that way. Obviously, I think it's better, at least for starters, it's better to have one server. But it will be inevitable that there will be multiple servers in the long run, I would say. I don't know. We will see. But yeah, it doesn't matter much. 1 or 2 or 3, it doesn't matter much. As long as the integration is good and that for common people, it's easy to use multiple servers if there were multiples, right? But of course, they should also still be able to use Redmond servers if they like, right? For their private game sessions, or Game Ranger even if they like to. Like, we don't want to push players into any specific service. We can encourage players to go to a certain place, but we should not push anyone to go anywhere. Like, it should be liberal. Players should be able to make their own decisions, and we just make recommendations as to what is the best path, and we make it easily available to reach any path that they can possibly take, right? So we don't make it hard for anyone to use Redmond, right? It should be easy, but we can say, hey, we have this online server, go on there because that's superior to the Redmond experience, right? You could say that, and then players naturally will go there, right? Over time. It might take some time, but over time, players will go to whatever works best. Okay, has this compiled? Yes. Okay, let me do check out this commit. Okay, then we build this one. Yeah, my machine is a bit laggy here as soon as all these targets are building. That's why you see me struggling with the illustration sometimes. Yeah, so that's why I think Dominator is not in the picture of like how this thing works, and that's why he says forget about compatibility now, right? I think he he didn't study this kind of thing, and which is fair, right? It wasn't part of the conversation. So what he suggests is building this island, or building multiple islands, right? We can do that, but it won't be a great rollout strategy, I would say. So what we currently do with our code efforts is code changes, we build towards different directions. So we build with compatibility in mind, but we also already in some parts build with not compatibility in mind, right? So because there are some things that we touch and we figure that we can't properly fix it with compatibility. And so we have to make a fix that will break compatibility, but it can be opted in, right? By compiling the codes with different settings. So there already is this, but our focus right now, since Community Outpost is our first customer, we still go this route of not breaking compatibility. And as I said, there is enough to do to make a build that is not breaking compatibility. There are enough problems. Of course, you can build great features and make many more fixes with breaking compatibility, but there is enough to do without breaking compatibility, right? So it certainly is a possibility to build a game client that is compatible with a retail game and is a much more polished version than the original game, which is a great upgrade, which wasn't possible just 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. We would have dreamt about this 4 or 5 months ago, and now we can do it. And now it's not enough anymore somehow, because everyone is eager to already push further ahead, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think, there are many different strategies that one can take. For me, as long as we are able to build the best game, the best 0 hour, the best generals, I'm happy with it. And in the end, the players, they need to figure out how they onboard themselves, right? Like every single player needs to make an effort to visit an island or visit an ecosystem. So you can make the decision that, okay, everyone join Generals Online. You can make this decision. That means you need to bring every player here, the one in the green circle, the Generals 0 Hour retail version, the one that is released on Steam, EA app, on all the CDs, on the DVDs. You can make a push and try to bring them all into Generals Online. You can try that. And then when you have them all captured here, you have a monopoly on content delivery in here, right? Because all players will be here. Or, and that's the route we are currently taking, we build a new ecosystem around the original version, and we piece by piece enhance it and build on top of it and make it one big ecosystem around the original. That's what we do here. So, yeah, I mean, in the end, it's the players that decide what they want to do. For us, we just develop, make the best game. That's all we can do. Yeah, and that's what we do. And I don't think Dominator means it the way that it may come across here. Like, forget about compatibility now, do it now, time make a game amazing for us. It reads a bit demanding, but he probably doesn't mean it this way. I can only see it from my perspective that the work we put is astonishing. We don't get compensated in any way. We just work on it for the passion of it, right? And for me, I worked on the game now, like with fixing efforts since 4 years. Started in 2021 with the fixing, and worked, majority of the time worked on this. I had some months breaks in these years, working on some other things. I can't remember exactly. No, for the most part I worked on generals, but possibly that some weeks I did something else is possible. Yeah. And since source code release, I worked every single day on the code, or on the code, fixing code. Yeah. And it's not slowing down. There's work done, and maybe it's not visible because I think people like to see like some problem and they focus on that and they see it's not being tackled yet, but then they maybe don't see all the things that have already been tackled, right? Or they're oblivious, they just don't know because we haven't released a changelog yet of the things we did. But now if we go here to General's game code, we have 572 changes already in our main line. And obviously not all of them are bug fixes. There are like many things that go towards building the foundation of the code, like, fixing things that are internal to the code that are not necessarily user-facing. We have 487 issues tracked, which are mostly original game issues. 67 pending pull requests, which is quite too much. And this is just the code side of things, right? You need to keep in mind there's still the whole data side of things, which is another project, right? So you have game code and you have game patch, which is a game data. And that already progressed as well to 1,700 commits. And that covers all the shit that is in the ini files, in the window files, in the art files, in the sound files, right? So we will cover the whole game, polishing the whole game. And it's a huge amount of work. And it takes time. And good things will take time. But in the end, nothing stops anyone from already using the things that are there and testing the things. It's just that we as developers, we haven't published anything yet. We haven't published any version of our game code yet. We haven't published any version of our game patch yet. It's all in development since months and years, but we didn't have a release because I personally don't see this being in a releasable state yet, because there's still way much more to do. Now we do have plans to be happy at one point and release like a version that, gives like initial set of fixes, right? For the code at least. And then keep on, and then build on top of that, So it's not meant to just release when everything is done, in 10 years time. There is now, we now have a goal for a first release, but there's still more to do in terms of stability and replicating gentle features. And will it happen this year? Hopefully. But I don't want to give any promises. That's why I don't put any timelines. And it's up to Community Outposts in the end to publish, right? And to also do the community communications. It's not what I should do. But I have a good overview of things. That's why I give updates about what is planned. Good. Yeah, so these are my thoughts. Now let's see the compilation. Okay, that has succeeded. Let me also try the next one. I'm just going to the commits to see if they compile individually. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's good that people identify the big bugs. Um, that's good to see because historically, I remember that people said the game is perfect. People literally wrote in the forums, "Don't touch the game. The game is perfect." I am not kidding you. People wrote that, and I find it astonishing that players thought this game is perfect when when provably in reality that's not the case. The game is not perfect. There is so much wrong in this game. It is remarkable. And so I think it's good that people recognize that there are problems, but they probably still don't recognize how many problems there really are. Yeah. There's probably more than people really realize. And the same, for me, it was the same. When I started in 2021 with Huel fixing the game, I didn't realize. I thought, okay, man. I mean, I knew some of the bigger problems that I fixed in Gentoo, right? I knew some there, but still, there was a lot more to discover. And the more you look, the more you realize how broken this game actually is and how much there needs to be done to fix it. Yeah. I mean, people are aware about mismatch and about crash bugs. That's what most people see. But it already starts at like annoying bugs that people don't realize. So, for example, there's this bug where if you change the resolution in the options menu, then the IP resets. The IP value in the list resets to the top one, right? And then afterwards, people are no longer able to connect to online and network matches because their IP has changed to the wrong IP, right? And then people don't figure out why they can't join lobby anymore, and then they maybe reinstall the game and try different things, and eventually they fix it, and then maybe they don't realize why they fix it. And there are a lot of these issues in the game where something breaks silently and you just don't understand what is going wrong. What is this bullshit, right? And all this is bad for the player experience because it makes it harder to use this game to actually play it, right? And there's a lot of this. Thousands. There are thousands of these bullshit issues. Some bigger than others, obviously, right? But it's a mess, and it just takes a long time to fix all this. No. Anyway, so for us, I mean, nothing really changes, no matter who publishes in the end. Whether it's General's online publishing or here in our ecosystem publishing, it doesn't really change what we do. We just keep fixing the game. That's our goal. Fix and polish and improve the game, and we will keep doing that. And I mean, it's good that Generals Online already inherits all our fixes because they build on top of what we built, but they are still an island, right? We didn't have any dialogue on before they published their content, so there was no communications or anything. So they're mostly self-governing, right? They do their own thing, but maybe eventually in the future they join this ecosystem. We will see. I mean, we're still building it up, right? So right now the ecosystem still is General 0 Hour Retail. That is still the heart of the ecosystem because that's the original EA release, right? And our mission is to expand what EA has originally built and build a new ecosystem around it, right? No. I hope it will all work out. I'm actually confident that it will work out. I mean, there's nothing, there's no wrong turn we can take here, really. We just fix and improve the original game. That's it. And build tooling around it to make it easy to generate to publish user-generated contents. Right? That's it. That's all the magic to it. Yeah. Just make it easy to access everything that the community creates. Make it easy for publishers to publish their contents in the ecosystem, and for users to use and discover these things. That's it. That must be the main goal. Yeah. Technically, it's all possible. It's just a matter of implementing these things well, and then we can do that. Yeah. 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 Well, we can talk about as much as we really want, but in the end, the only thing that matters is that we implement this, right? That's the essence. We need to implement all this, make it all possible, and then go from there. Like, no amount of talking will get this done. At the core, it's the developers that will drive the progress. No amount of talking will drive progress. It's just working on these things. Okay, so I see that everything has built here. Then let's see if that has built as well. Where is it? Here. Okay, this has built as well. All right, we will merge it with Rebase. I have tested that individual commits work builds. I've tested that individual commits builds. Let me double check. So we tested this one, this, and this. Yeah. Okay, cool. Then we can comment this, and we can rebase and merge. Yeah, rebase and merge. Okay, let me double check the commit list. 14 commits. They all have the pull number at the end. Yeah. Okay, I think we are good to go. Confirm, rebase, and merge. All right, cool. Now we go here, pull and rebase. Let me post the status update here. I have merged, let's say, RTS internal and logging lf, is it a log, debug log, new line, changes are pushed, merged in main. This means this means many older PRs may need updating because it touched many files. Okay. Good. Then we got that. Okay, then we can delete this one here. And this one. And this one. And this one. All right, then we can next maybe merge this one here. Update pull request description. This change implements the system clock and game time. They can be stylized and moved by adding the relevant fields in the in-game UI ini file. The system time is just currently offset from the left. The system time is just currently offset from the left, while the game time is positioned relative to the right side of the viewport. This is to replicate how they implemented within Ship2. They're enabled by default for now to a font size of 8, but can be also disabled, blah, blah. The following will disable them independently if added to the options ini. Updated example with latest version. Updated once more with the gray frame string. Okay. Let's take a look at it. Looks good to me. Yeah? Let's see if they are in line. Yeah, user preferences, in-game UI. Okay, yeah, looks good. Proof. Squash and merge. System time and game time display. From now on, debug log and similar macros, similar logs no longer need the trailing. And okay, so that is merged as well. Okay. Good. Then let me actually open here our notifications and see what I need to look at here. What is this? Fix hackers. Fix hacking. Hackers packing and unpacking when told to hack the internet as part of a group. So this does what it is. Yeah. Fix and remove scroll speed limits. It might be good to set the scroll post to scroll max. It's great, otherwise can look. Max position will change the scroll speed. So let's say it sets scroll factor 300. Okay, I need to fix the merge conflict here. Fix scroll speed min max. Okay, solve conflicts. Aha. Maybe slider boundaries. Say slider limits. no longer sets the slider position if the user setting is set beyond the slider limits. Base domain. Model system clock and system time and game time change is merged to main branch. Party blob. Okay, so good. What else can we look at? Document the in-game debug commands. Yeah. Okay. That's not my turf. Okay, wiki, we can what is this here? Adriana branch. Major overhaul. Oops. I think Adriane currently does a lot of changes. To World Builder. By the looks of it, Adriano currently does a lot of changes to World Builder in his branch, and it will be difficult to split these into reviewable chunks. We will probably need to talk about this with Adriana at some point in the future, how we deal with it. Yeah, he's working on the world builder, doing fixes and improvements. He touched 8,000 lines of code already, touched 102 files. So yeah, it looks like he touches all the tools, does all sorts of things. And yeah, this this will be hard to review because it's just this huge block of code of different things. It would be impossible to review. Yeah. Yeah. Good. This one is merged. This one is class. Notifications. Okay, then we can replicate it to generals as well. Okay. Let me open a git bash. Good. So we take this. Actually, hold on. We need to rebase once more. We take this. Okay, there is a error. Oof. Okay. Okay. Okay, I don't know why it did not replicate on generals. That's odd. It should have. It looks pretty much the same here to me. Or does it not? It looks the same. Scroll-Pos. Okay. Replicates in generals. Let's compare. It looks identical. It does. Okay. Good. Then we push that. Replicate it in generals with conflicts. Good, and then the next, fix crashing within a pathfind. Yeah. I wonder when this will be ready for review. It has been as a draft for over a month, 1.5 months. The big work on this one. Okay, so this we can merge soon. This one has been closed. We're closed for now. I'm busy with a ton of other projects. Does need a rebase with resume and still set to draft. Busy with ton of other projects. Yeah, well, I think 0 hour requires to be focused just on general 0 hour. Yeah. When you focus on other projects, you're already lost. Yeah. There's only one project to focus on, and that is general 0 hour. Nothing else matters. Don't focus on Linux or Bitcoins or any of these projects. Just general 0 hour. That's where the money is at. Clearly not. But yeah, distractions are never good for productivity. Yeah, because then you never get anything done. Replace name key strings with defines. What was this? Oof. I mean, in principle, it's not a bad idea to have like defines for these so that you don't have typos in these name key strings. So in principle, this change does make sense. It's too bad that he closed it. Yeah. Well, I guess someone else can pick it up. It's not like this is lost or anything, right? Yeah. Okay. To avoid such problem, you can search for both and then take the address that is larger. This is meant to be a draft review. Is this meant to be a draft review? far as I am aware, Legionnaire uses this. Well, yeah. F reads. This is use F open. F open. Use buffered IO. Oh shit. Why is this turned off? Why is buffered IO turned off? Oof. This was purely an experiment in optimization. At the present time, it doesn't appear to be a good one. This was purely an experiment in optimization. At the present time, it doesn't appear to be a good one. Why did he consider this to be not a good improvement? We know that non-buffered IO is pretty bad. We should probably remove all the unbuffered stuff. But before we do that, we probably want to gather some evidence that the buffering is superior. So on Windows, buffered file is 512 bytes buffer size. Unbuffered, yeah, if you have logic that writes single characters to files, then this will be ultra slow. I know that the game text class does do that, or reads single characters. So if we have a Do I have somewhere a English generals str time debug? Yeah. Here I have one here, channels str. What is this? Oof. Okay, this is a multi-str. Here we have an English one. Yeah. Okay, so if I take this guy, yeah, and I think it goes into data, right? Generals, English, data. Where does it go? That's audio. It's not right. General English 0 hour. Yeah, data English. Data English. So we need to put it here. So the game should now load this. And I know that this will be slow. Slower than general CSF. So what we can do now is we open Pix. I would say we go to, let me put a bookmark here. Bookmark, yeah. We go to WinMain. I need some water. All right, so WinMain. Let me put a why did it not go to WinMain? What is this? WinMain. It doesn't want to go there. What is this? Ugh. It doesn't want to go there. Now we're there. Amazing. Here, WinMain. So I think what we should do is we set a debug break in here so that the game halts when we launch it. Ah, no. we should, I mean, we can do a, let's do a debug. Let's do a message box, yeah. Message box A. We do a null text, blah, blah, MB okay. We build and release, we close this here. We remove all the targets except 0 hour. There we go. If debugging is difficult, if debugging is difficult, then maybe we need to make some changes to CMake to make it easier again. Or have two modes, two compile modes. Okay. Okay, so this should launch. We first need to compile. Yeah. Okay, and then so basically, I would like to take a performance capture from game boot. We enable CPU samples. Of course, the context switches don't really need, but yeah, remove this. But we need the file accesses, and that's it. Yeah. Yeah. We can launch Win32. Yeah, we can do that. Pass to executable. This will be generals zh.exe. Actually, in that case, we don't need a message box if we can launch it directly through here. Look at that. Working directory Z, command line arguments, -win. Yeah, -win is enough. Sorry. Okay, so that's compiled. I don't think we need the message box actually, since we can start the measurement right from peaks, launching it from there. We just need to make sure that it starts here. Yeah. Okay, let's see how that goes. Launch. Fail to launch. Oh, it doesn't support x68. 86. Oh. Well, in that case, yeah, that's unfortunate. Is there a Pix for Pix x86? Pix for Windows. Maybe an older version? How can we use Pix with x80? I find that is really strange that this is not supported. Why is that not supported? Not enough users for that kind of thing, or? Huh. We really need to get x64. Maybe that should be a goal. We upgrade to x64. Yeah. Yeah. Unbuffered. Okay, let me add a assign to yourself, and then use buffered IO. Can we get a link to that maybe? permalink. Okay, I think we need x64. I would like to upgrade. I would like to upgrade Codebase to x64 because it will unblock some tooling we need. Fix ASN without crashing. The only problem is then we will lose some audio and video. Yeah. Because video currently uses Bing and audio uses Smiles. Note that as far as I'm aware, Ligonier uses, note that the local file potentially has a performance issue. What we can maybe do is UI for ETF. We have this somewhere, right? UI, no, no. UI for ETW. Maybe we can use that instead. Maybe. Compress trace. Okay, I will disable the stream here, the music stream. We do have performance analyzer, right? Yeah. Do. Okay, and then we need to settings. Heap profile processes. General zh.exe. And then we say, okay, then we actually do need the message box. Yeah. Okay, so what we do is we launch here. Message. So we launch this, there is a message box. Then we start tracing. We press OK. We wait a moment. We load into shell map and we're done. Okay, then we save trace buffer. Okay. And now it should have saved it somewhere. Yeah. App data. Okay. So it's in documents, okay. And then we exit the game. Now we go to here and we say use buffer.io. Yeah. Then we compile that. And then we run that as well and create another trace. Okay. All right. We stop tracing. Okay, now we have one capture with unbuffered IO and one with buffered IO. Good, so the first one is with unbuffered. Let's take a look at this. It should open in Performance Analyzer. Yeah. And then we open the second one. Okay. Okay, so now we have these two views. Now this one is the, maybe we should have renamed them. Rename trace. So this is unbuffered. Unbuffered IO. Oh. Okay, that's weird. Unbuffered IO. Ah. Buffered IO. Okay, let me then relaunch here these things. So I think there must be somewhere a, how do we, it has been some years I used this. Here, random ASCII. It's already there. Look at that. Okay, so here we start the game. Good. And here it does things. Okay, so generals exe. Here we go. me see. Do we see symbols or not? I hope we do. Symbols. Hmm. Hmm. No additional symbol data available. So did it load the symbols or not? What is this? Ugh. How do I know it loaded the symbols? Man, this UI. How do I go down here? What is this? Why is it only showing system DLLs here? Why don't I see any generals exe here? What is this? What is this bullshit? Here. Symbols disabled. What? Why are the symbols disabled? Huh? Why are the symbols gone? How can we load symbols then? Here, load symbols. Let me do that. I thought it would load it automatically. Oh boy. Now it loads all symbols of all the things. Oh boy. Oh boy. It might take hours here. Ugh. We should have loaded just symbols for the general 0 hour. Can we stop this somehow? We click on load symbols and we just load everything, right? Ugh. So there should be somewhere here is disk usage, right? File IO. There we go. So file IO. So general ZH exe file out textures big. Okay, so file IO. Can we see all IO? Activity by process. There we go. There we go. Okay, so this is the buffered IO. And there we can see duration. Microseconds. Microseconds, okay. Okay, so the IO of generals took, what is this? Microseconds, so it's 340. Wait. Oof, how do we read this number? So microseconds, so it's 340,000 microseconds. This is dot 3, so this is nanoseconds, right? So 340,000 microseconds, that is 0.34 seconds. That's not much size. So it went through 224 megabytes in 0.34 seconds. Is that right? It's pretty fast. What about this one? Still loading symbols. File IO. Good. So. Good. So we go by activity by process. And here we have, okay, the same size here. Mm, 200 27 megabytes, so it was 3 megabytes more. Let me expand this. So it's 749. So this is 0.75 milliseconds. So this is more than twice as slow. Yeah, so double of this is about 700. So this loads twice as slow. Just file access on my SSD. On HDD, obviously there will be more, but on SSD it still is pretty fast, under a second for game boot. But this one is twice as fast. Now this was just one test. Can repeat this maybe one, two more times. But let me look here. Reads. Yeah, so reading takes the most time. Yeah. Actually, here we need to look at this number 887. This one is 411. Yeah, so it's more than twice. Yeah. Okay, and this one is, so reading is the highest cost. Yeah. Do we see what code is reading? We only see what is reading. We don't see who is reading. Text just big. Now there could be a. We should probably start it again. Like maybe the HDD cache was the SSD cache was extra hot on the second launch, so we should probably launch it once, so that the SSD cache is very hot, and then launch it again and then again. Yeah. And make captures. I'm very upset about this symbol loading shit here. Why can't we just load the symbols of just generals.exe? Why does it have to load the whole system shit? Let me disable this here. Okay, let me just close this and this. Okay, so what I will do, we first make another build without the buffer. Yeah. Okay. Then we launch it once so that the SSD cache is extra hot. Yeah. Like this. Okay. Let me close it. Okay. Now we delete these two captures here. Yeah. Then, so the cache is pretty hot right now. Let's do it one more time just to be sure, because we just deleted some stuff. Yeah. So. So then quit. Okay. So now we launch. Now we start tracing. We press OK. We wait. Press enter. Press escape. And we are in here. Okay. Okay, then we save. Good. Then we rename this to unbuffered IO. Okay, and we open this. And we load the symbols fresh. Yeah. Hopefully without the Windows symbols, because that just takes forever. Okay, so trace, configure symbol path. Jesus Christ, what is this? Okay. Okay, so it has this one enabled. Let me disable the Microsoft path here. So we just use 0-hour folder. Okay. And then load symbols. Okay. And we have general symbols now. Ugh. Why is it? So now this actually took 2.5 seconds. File access. Huh. That's much longer than before. Activity process. All right. too bad that I cannot see here, like who is like reading this file. I cannot see this here. Okay, but we have a total time. Do we have symbols now or not? I still haven't seen that. I find this really confusing. Why I don't see any symbols here. There's no generals.exe code in here. There's only DLLs. What is this? I don't understand. I don't understand why this the presentation of this is so stupid here. The threads. So this must be main threads. Huh. Interesting. So expensive here. Okay, well, we do have symbols here. Yeah. Okay, then let's create another captcha. Use buffer.io. Okay, we launched the game once. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then we launched it a second time. And where's it? Here. Okay. Then we start tracing. Okay. We skip this. Skip that. And that. Okay. And then we stop tracing. Okay. Then we have a new trace, and then we rename that to buffer.io. And then we open that as well. Then we go to trace, configure symbols. We uncheck this one, click on OK. Jesus Christ, this program is buggy. Okay, then we click on load symbols and it loads. All right, we go to disk IO. Activity. Generals exe. Okay, and the duration is 257. Size is 268 megabytes. Here it's 265 megabyte. So here it took 2.5 seconds. And here just 257. Yeah, 2.5 seconds, and here 0.25. Whoa, that's much quicker actually. Jesus Christ. That's magnitudes. 10 times as fast. Jesus. Oh, that is surprising. That really is surprising, yeah. I would like to see, like, actually a breakdown of what exactly is so expensive. We should see local file taking a lot of time, but can we see this here? I remember I've seen this once, but where? Ugh. Weight analysis. What is that? Weight analysis. CPU usage. We have a thread here. Aha. Here's General's main thread. Ah, there we go. Game main. Okay, there we go. Game engine init. Yeah. Aha, here. Open file archive. Okay, let's try to find the same in here. Let me remove that and that. Why can we not? What? Okay, I have no idea. I have no idea what's happening here. It's so buggy right now. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, you have to hit the arrow exactly. Oh my gosh, you need super micro for this. Oh my gosh. Okay, we selected flame by process, yeah. Oh, it's not so easy to drill in here with this tool. It's so hard to navigate. My gosh. Okay. But now we know where to look. Okay, good. Let me make this larger here. Okay, so game main, execute. So this is the buffered IO, the one that's supposed to be faster. Where are we? We are in. So there's game engine update and there's game engine init. Where's game engine init here? Here's update. I don't see init. Game engine execute. Ah, it's here. There it is. Okay, I already see that this number is significantly lower than the other one. Okay, we're looking at here Win32 big file system init. There we go. Open archive file. Local file read. There we go. Local file read, that's at 4,000 units, whatever that is, samples. And this one is open archive file. Load big files from directory. Huh, can I drill into this? Oh, we are already. Never mind. We're looking at open archive file. There we go. Yeah, that number is significantly lower. It's 47 here. And here it's 4,000. 4,000. Yeah, this is where some of the discrepancy comes from. Okay, let me try to get like a view on both these things. Okay, so here we have that. Yeah, let's put them like similarly. Generals, yeah. Why do we have a selection here? Don't want to have a selection. Okay. Yeah, so here the loading here is much busier. Yeah. Okay, let me open this one here. Right. I think it's fine if we just have this. Put this and this. So here, local file reads, takes this amount here, and if we click it here, it's much bigger here, but much bigger chunk. Okay, I think this comparison is pretty conclusive. So it can be 10 times as slow. Here, this chunk took really long time. And here is so much shorter with a buffered IO. Okay, then I will take, let me put this closer over here. And we take this over here. Okay, so this is, we take a screenshot here. Paint. And then this one here, we take a screenshot and paint. Then let me add some graphics here. So local file reads. I mean, I already have had highlighted here, but maybe we take like a thin box here, red. Let's take it green. Green. Let's take a box here. Let's draw an arrow. How about that arrow here? That looks shit. Let's put an arrow like so. And then arrow here. So I put arrows where the interesting parts are. And then here we do the same. So this is, let's take green. So this is the interesting part here, and here, and here. Okay. Yeah, so it's significantly faster. It's a huge performance boost. Then I think what we should do we should simply remove the unbuffered IO shit, right? Let me get back here, my Batman music. So, okay, let me review this file IO stuff. So we have file here, handle there, fclose, fm file total open. Okay, that looks correct. Truncate. Yeah. Yeah. Not yet supported by buffered modes. Append truncate. I think there actually are ways to do that. No? Append and truncate. Let me see how we did it in Thyme, because I remember we explicitly implemented there as well. Here. Here. Concat. Append. A. Append is A. What about truncate? Truncate. So append read. Write read binary. Okay, binary is B. Okay. Mode. Append. Okay, what about truncate? Truncate is really not supported here. Truncate. Clear file, not read or appended. Truncate. Why is there no mode for just read? So here we have create, truncate, append text, t. Okay. So here we said we have append. If we have read plus append read plus, it says read write plus read writes create. Right, so this means access reads, but it doesn't explicitly say that. That's weird. Because here it also doesn't say that. Okay. Okay, that's fair. So this implies access reads. If okay, so with the append we can do concat a, right? So we can here have a. Okay. So that will work. Let me put this here. A. Else if append create. Maybe we should actually say, hold on, if create reads w plus. Is AR or AW its thing? A plus. Oof. Aha, append. So we say if that. Let me say if read then plus and then we say concat W plus. So here it says read writes creates W plus write reads writes okay, we can agree on this here, TB. Text, okay, T. T is not a thing though, is it? F open. T F open T F open text mode. There's no T. There's no T. Is anyone using text then? Let me see. There is. There is. I think text is simply the default mode. Yeah. We just close that. Remove that. Okay. Okay, so truncate, is that used then? It's used here. Truncate. Yeah. Delete all data in file when opened. I think that's default as well, right? If you write a new file, it will delete it unless you put append. So I think that's bogus as well. Truncate is meaningless. Yeah. Append. Seek. Oh, think we can remove this here as well. I think this can be removed as well. Okay, so it will be a so append means it's writing and this. Okay. Read writes. Read writes. Creates. Read writes. That doesn't look right. Create, read. This is wrong, isn't it? If we want to write, no, there's a plus here. Hold on. I think this is correct. Yeah. 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 curious why it said that append is not supported with buffered mode, but then at the end it had this here. So clearly it was supported, but it was different. This one is different rules. Append if file exists, whereas this one will create one. And this will also delete, create. We need to replicate the close or exactly the same rules. It's not very straightforward. Pens, reads. Pend reads. Is append used then? Truncate. Read append. Huh? Oh, if not read append, then truncate. Oh man, okay, this requires a bit more thinking here to get right. Let me re-add this. I want to have it commented, so I can still see it. Yeah. Okay, let's search for the other places where we have this and review that the other places are okay. So fread, that looks pretty straightforward. Element size, element count, file stream, yeah. So maybe what we can do is we can already comment out the legacy code. Yeah. Fseek. Yeah, okay. Or we just keep the old one for now, the legacy implementation. Yeah, it's no need to remove it, right? Can we remove it in another change? Yeah, we now just wanna use it. Yeah, that's fair. I think what we should do is we say here if use buffer.io, and then we go to game defines if and def use buffer.io define one and if and then we use if that. Okay. Okay. Buff size, MV buff. Oh. Why is MV buff? What is this? Huh. That seems unnecessary. MV buff. Aha. Someone was experimenting with setting a huge buffer. Let's see. But that's not necessary. You don't need a local buffer for this. You can just, it can default allocate a buffer for you. Yeah. That's not necessary. What we did here was we made an option to specify the buffer size here. Use default buffer size. Uses default buffer size on Windows. So 512 bytes on Windows. Can I make this null? Same buffer size. Let's just put some random number here. Good. Then we need to nail those flags here, get these right. Other than this, the change looks pretty simple to get that in. Yeah. Yeah, but we need to nail those flags. Okay. Because I don't quite I don't believe that the original is correct. And we need to look through this carefully. So the original was just this. If it's read write and if it can't create, then it's W plus. W plus open file for reading and writing. If file exists, deletes content and overwrites a file. Otherwise creates an empty new file. Yeah. Okay, so this is correct. And then R plus, that means if there is, it means it must be read. And then this is correct as well. Otherwise, if it is just write, then it's W. But here, but it's not correct because here we don't have, no, actually, that is correct. W will also create a file. Creates a file if it doesn't exist. Open file for writing. Deletes content and overwrites a file. Open for writing. Yeah, okay. So this creates a file if it has to. And this never creates a file, this just reads a file. Okay, so what we are missing is this A plus and A. Open file pending. But that is handled down here. So I'm curious why this was here. I need to think about this a bit. Okay, what's the time? 3 hours, 30. Yeah, I think I will take a break here. The next session we continue investigation. I wonder, there was something that we can merge still, right? This one. Fix and remove scroll speed limits. Fix and remove scroll speed limits. Confirm squash and merge. There we go. I'm currently looking into that. Okay. Good. I think I will take a break here. Still a lot more stuff to do. Yeah. Good. Then I wish you a great day or night until next time. Goodbye.